When you are assigned the family CEO, you got to be good at your job, sis, okay? You got to be good at your job. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Sistervention. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a regular, thanks sis for coming back. We took a week off, and honestly, I missed you guys. So today we have a very special episode, and it's actually why I even started the podcast in the first place. I feel like I never really got to give off my big sis energy the way I wanted to. So today we're unpacking it. This is my love letter for all the oldest daughters, because honestly, it can get a little ghetto. All right. If you know, you know. Shout out to all my oldest daughters. If you're a middle child or the youngest, it's okay. This episode is for you. But let's get into it. Okay, so obviously, guys, I'm the oldest. If you do not know, I have a brother and a sister. Me and my brother are 15 years apart. So that's a very different oldest daughter experience versus me and my sister. We're only 2.5 years apart. And obviously, us being girls versus my little brother, I'm a big sister in like two totally different ways. And I feel like everyone's always like, oh my God, you and your brother, you and my brother. But one thing about it, me and my sister, baby, we get down, okay? And we do not play about each other. And I love that because for so long, it was literally just us. I have so many memories of when my oldest daughter just kicked in, right? Like there's just something when you're an oldest daughter, the built-in leadership, the built-in like loyalty, and I'm a Scorpio on top of that. I mean, come on. But literally I cannot wait to bring my sister on the podcast because there are so many times where I'm just like, girl, I wish someone had my back the way I had your back. And she's probably watching this now like, girl, please. But look, I don't know if I should wait until she comes on the episode to get into these stories. But let me just tell you something. I brought my sister in to show and tell in the second grade. They said, bring something you love. And I literally brought in my sister. She was like, I think 4 at the time. It was honestly the cutest thing. And if that tells you anything about my personality and how much I love being an older sister, I think that should tell you. But honestly, there's a blessing in being an older sister, but there are some struggles. All the time on social media, I see the girlies talking about their experiences as oldest daughter. And I will say, shout out to my parents because they never over-parentified me. I can genuinely say these were all things that I just wanted to do. From the age of like 3, my dad would always say, I would put in the tapes of Barney. I would have my little sister. I would make sure he was able to sleep, and I would just change out the tape when it was over, tap him if we were hungry. And this is at 3 years old, okay? So sometimes, it's not taught. It's just in you, right? But honestly, I thank God that they did not over-parentify me because, we already don't want children as 30-year-olds, but imagine if I really felt like I raised these kids, baby. I don't blame us. I understand why some of the girls is like, I'm good on the kids. But that's a whole nother episode for a whole nother day. But what I will say is I genuinely love being an older sister. But for those who have been over-parentified, I feel for you, okay? Because it's one thing to just naturally always want to do this. But when you have the pressure of your parents being like, yeah, change these diapers, pick this kid up from school, cook this dinner, I cannot imagine. So really my heart does go out. And like I said, this is a love letter to my oldest daughters. Not only do I want Sistervention to be a space where you feel seen and heard, but also to build community and find other girls who can relate. So leave a comment below if you're an oldest daughter because you know the struggle. I think for me, the most annoying part of being the oldest daughter was definitely the pressure to be perfect because there was nobody else to kind of mirror things off of. So you just came up with what you thought you should do, right? And let's be honest, my parents never had a kid before, so they also don't know what they're doing. So everybody's out here just not knowing what they're doing. We are truly the blueprint, and I will say sometimes it gets a little messy. But yeah, the pressure to be perfect, especially for me, I love being a good role model for my brothers and sisters. And some people, they have siblings, they genuinely just do not care. And that's to each its own. But me and my crew, I'm setting the tone. I'm setting the example. I really am the CEO of the family. So I take my responsibility very, very seriously. I just moved my parents to Dallas, and I say I moved them because they would not be here if it was not for me. So when I say that was a lot of responsibility and pressure that I put on myself that I wasn't even originally really thinking about. And also I was when I did it, I was oh, Girl, you done signed yourself up for a whole new situation. Like, I was in Dallas living my best life by myself, and I was like, oh, I want my parents here. And I will say it's been the best decision ever. It's been the biggest blessing. But baby, the grandma is now the baby, okay? I'm so serious. Like, I am now raising 2 6-year-olds. It's actually insane. And I know they're watching this, so hey guys. But it's been such the biggest blessing. But baby, it is oldest daughter to the core. I'm talking about ordering the Ubers, dropping them off to the airport, booking the flight, anything that has to do with a computer, baby. It's my job now. And I'm like, oh. And then sometimes you just wonder, like, how did y'all do things before me? It's like, I'm confused. Like, who's the child here? But you know what? Not too much on my parents, because they do their big one for me all the time. So I won't go in on them. But honestly, being the oldest daughter is quite frightening and traumatizing at times. I will be honest. So for my girls who have been parentified, I feel with you that pressure, release it. Release it, sis. Hopefully you're grown. If you're younger and you're feeling the effects right now, listen to your big sister. This weight is not yours to carry. Of course, you want to be a good daughter, a good sister, but you cannot be that to anyone if you're not good to yourself first. So release some of the pressure of being the oldest daughter, because I know it can get heavy. Now, one thing I will say is a lot of my oldest daughter girlies have a lot of resentment built up, okay? And again, we take on a lot because we want to. A lot of times, it's also because we have to, or we feel like we have to. Baby, I need you to reclaim your peace, reclaim your time, because what you do not want to do is be walking around overstimulated and annoyed at all times. It is very real. A lot of times you're really not even mad. You're just overstimulated and like just overwhelmed. And I think that just goes with like the burnout and just being the oldest daughter and just wanting to take on that responsibility, or again, having to take on that responsibility. You have to release it, because what you do not want is resentment, especially with your family. And I think a lot of people watching this can relate when you say that, like, you're constantly always the one doing. I look at my siblings sometimes and I'm like, are y'all gonna do anything? Like, and honestly, they don't have to, because they know I'm going to do it. And my parents know I'm going to do it. And that's something I set up. So at any time, if I want to pull the curtain back and say, hey, buddies, Crystal's choosing herself and I'm going to slow down on all this I've been doing, that's my right. And again, I do things because I want to do them and I enjoy doing them. But if you have parents like mine who are all about being fair, it's like, so we all get equal treatment, but we all don't do the same things. But because y'all want to be such, equal opportunity parents, everyone's getting the same Christmas gifts, the same budget, the same this. I'm like, hold on. I am a performance-based worker. The more I do, I feel like the more I'm supposed to get. But honestly, I'm not a parent. If you're a parent, please chime in and let me know how you guys manage this, because personally, I think the more you do, the more you should get. But I understand that's not fair in parenting. But as the oldest daughter, I'm expecting the perks, okay? I'm expecting the perks of all my hard work. But I will say, again, I will never go in on my parents because they are genuinely the best people in this world. But, shout out to them. A lot of people ask me if I'm an only child. I'm like, no, I'm actually the oldest daughter. But that is how locked in I am with them. And that's how much I love and talk about them all the time. So, hey, but again, I want to be a relatable queen. So if that was not your experience, let me know in the comments how you deal with being the oldest daughter. And honestly, if you have resentment built up to your parents, because I do think that's a real thing for our oldest daughters and it's not talked about enough. So come on, ladies, this is a safe space. All my oldest daughters, check in. Now, again, like I said, being the big sister is definitely a blessing and a curse, but let's talk about the blessing of it all. I feel like my friends that are the oldest daughters are some of the wisest people I know. This is no shade to the middle child and the youngest daughters or the only children, because I do have a few friends that are only children. Shout out to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all are just different. Very, very different from the oldest daughter, okay? Because let me tell you something. When you're friends with the oldest daughter, baby, the pressure is there. I am the friend like, babes, we said we were going to do that last week. What's going on? And, you don't have no siblings. Nobody's really holding you accountable. So here I am. I'm that friend. So I understand it could be hard being friends with me sometimes, but you love me. I am the friend that you love, because it's like, dang, Crystal always got solutions. She gets it done. She's motivating. And that's because I'm the oldest daughter, baby. I keep this train going for everyone around me. And honestly, I love it. I love being the conductor of my own life. But what I will say is our tough love is always wrapped in wisdom. And you know what? I wish I had a me. That's probably one of my biggest, issues of being the oldest daughter. I really wish I had an older sister to put me on game, because, baby, when I say the blind leading the blind, I was navigating through life so what did my friends say that I should do? Because, baby, I don't have anybody to really go talk to about this. I do envy my girls who have an older sister, but that is exactly why I created the podcast. Not everyone has the luxury of being an older sister, so who better to be an older sister to everyone than moi? Honestly, if you're not watching this episode, I highly suggest you get on YouTube and you watch it, because the facial expressions, the color, if you're not watching, I'm wearing a beautiful yellow. Hair is half up, half down. Look, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube and catch all the visuals, all the shade, all the facial expressions, because it's fun over here. But if you are listening, I appreciate you as well, of course. Anyway, I will say, the blessing also of being an older sister is you have built-in friends, okay? Because one thing about it, my dad used to always tell me, you can pick your friends, but you cannot pick your family. And I am so grateful. As I get older, me and my siblings are like this. We are locked in, and I just can't even imagine life without them. And like I said, my brother is 15 years younger than me. So me and my sister, we've been doing this thing for 30 years at this point, okay? But me and my brother, he's kind of new here. I'm like, hold up, because my mom had him when I was in high school. I had peers that were pregnant at the same time as my mom. So you can only imagine what that was like, being an older sister again. But not only is it a boy this time, but I'm in high school, and parents are like, oh my God, your parents still getting on, whoa. And now looking back, I'm like, they were only 40. We thought they were so old. It was like, they're not even that old. Now, women are like, okay, I'm 40. I'm finally ready to have a baby. And back then it was like, whoa, is your mom okay? Like, is she sure about this? I'm like, hello, what? It was just a lot to unpack being 15 and having a mom that was pregnant when 15-year-olds were pregnant. But when I say my little brother has been the biggest blessing, and it's so different. Our relationship is so different because he's younger and he'll actually still kind of listen to me. It's definitely changed over the last 4 years. CJ, if you're watching this, I don't know why you don't listen to me as much anymore. But, when we were growing up, it was like, okay, he's locked in. Whatever I said kind of went. He believed it. He went with it. He didn't question anything. He didn't really talk back. It was lovely. Now he's 19. He's doing his own thing. He's in college. He thinks he knows a thing or two. But it's like, mother knows best, okay? And speaking of mother, being the second mom is like, it gets to that point where you're like, am I your friend? Am I your sister? Am I your mom? It gets the lines get very blurred. But one thing I know for sure is that I always have my siblings' best interests at heart, okay? So when I get in my mom mode, it's because I love you. And that's with anybody, right? There's just a level of big sister that you get into that mommy mode where you're just like, I'm a protector. I'm fiercely loyal. I'm that same way about my friends, my family. I gets down. I do not play. If you're in my life, I love you. I want the best for you. And I'm going to go all in. And again, oldest daughter to the core. Now, one thing I will say about being the oldest daughter is that when you are assigned the family CEO, you got to be good at your job, sis, okay? You got to be good at your job because the tasks are constantly being thrown at you. I think oldest daughters are the best multitaskers there are, okay? The best, because you are so used to juggling so many things. I got my sister texting me about her day and at work. I got my little brother asking me if we should start a new business. I got my parents like, how do you get, onto YouTube from the television? How do you download an app? It's a lot going on at the same time, plus my life. And I think that oldest daughters should date oldest sons. You know why? Because you need someone who is used to responsibility. When you start dating people who are the youngest and you're the oldest, let me tell you something. It gets a little mismatched, a little misaligned, okay? And again, this is no shade to my younger sibling people, but there's just a different experience. And I just really believe that you deserve someone who understands the weight and responsibility of putting the family on his back so he could do that for you. But I want to get into my sister vent of the week because, of course, I talked about dating, but my sister vent of the week is about Shannon Sharp. It's about Shannon Sharp. It is. It is about Shannon Sharpe. It is about 54-year-old Shannon Sharpe who ran down on a 19-year-old at a gym and has been dating her for the last 3 years, who has essayed her, allegedly, who has been participating in race play. I can't even say allegedly because I saw the text message myself. I want to really talk about age gap dating and wanting to date your father, right? And I'm not saying that this girl necessarily wanted to date her father, because I think there's a lot of things that go into this situation with Shannon Sharpe, right? This is a 56-year-old black man who met her at 54. She was 19 at the time. And, he's successful, he's rich, he has money, but he's still an unk, right? He's still an unk, he's still creepy. And she knew that man was creepy, but, someone offers you candy 5 times. You're like, damn, all right, let me try the red Starburst. So I get it. That's what it gave, right? It gave, you pursued this girl. She wasn't interested. You kept pursuing her. She finally gave in. And just like you want her because she's pretty, she wants you because you have money, right? I don't think there's any genuine interest there. But Shannon Sharpe is not well. Something's actually wrong with that man. When I'm watching clips back from his podcast, Nightcap with Ocho Cinco, and I'm seeing him, people are begging this man to date his age, begging him. And he's like, nope. Sir, are you good? Clearly not, right? And I think there's a difference when there is just men have the ability to date a wide range of, age groups. You could date from 30 to your age group, 60, whatever. And there's a difference between someone who only targets young girls, right? And it's not because they can't find anyone their age, because they don't want anyone their age. And I think we have to understand that when you are the oldest daughter, or you grew up really fast, or people tell you you're mature for your age, if you're younger listening, please listen to me very carefully when I say, you're not mature for your age. Do not let that be the reason why you are over here getting picked up at high school from people in college. Or don't let that be the reason why you're sitting at a bar getting with a 60-year-old man and you're 21. It's not because you're mature for your age. It's because they see someone that they can manipulate. They see someone that is very impressionable. They see someone that they know has not experienced life. You're not wet behind the ears yet, okay? And when you think that you can outsmart a 60-year-old man, they've been on this earth for 60 years, sister. You've only been here for 20. Now, if you about that money and you get in, get out, that's a totally different story, okay? But when you are out here searching for love, searching for a dad within these men, or whatever your reasoning is, if it's not solely off of mutual interest and genuine attraction, I'm gonna need you to exit stage left. Because this is exactly how a lot of these situations happen, right? And of course, Shannon said it was consensual. She also said it was consensual. But the moment it was no longer consensual is when it became sexual assault. And when I look at people supporting Shannon, I look at the conversations that men have. I'm like, babes, they are not a safe space for you. They're not. And one thing about me, I really look for safe spaces in my relationship, because if I can't confide in you, if I don't feel safe with you, we have absolutely nothing to talk about. And that's just from a business standpoint, a romantic standpoint, anything, right? You need safe spaces within people. And when you're looking at someone like a Shannon Sharpe, and you're hearing about the gross things that he says about women, you're hearing these text messages, homeboys like, I'm gonna choke you when I see you. When someone shows you who they are the first time, please believe them. Please believe them. So I say all this to say that a lot of times when you are the oldest daughter and you did grow up fast, or you're parentified, or you had a rocky relationship with your parent, you definitely, look for that in your romantic relationships. And I'm here to tell you, heal first, okay? Heal first. I am not against age gap dating at all. I want to make that very clear, especially as someone who I would like to call myself successful. A lot of times, babes, the 30-year-olds are not doing it. They just haven't done what I've done. They don't make the money that I make, and they just don't have the experiences that I've experienced. So a lot of times you will skew older just because for whatever reason, men need more time. They I don't know, whatever the reason may be for you. But a lot of times these older men match, maybe a little 10-year difference or whatever case may be. So again, I'm not against age gap dating. I don't think that everyone who wants to date older has daddy issues. But what I will say is that there are just some people who are too young. There are some people who are just not healed enough. There are just some people who cannot identify that people are just not naturally into them. They're into them only because they are young or they look good or whatever case may be. And I just think it's really sad to see these situations happen when you look at like R. Kelly and Diddy and Shannon Sharp and Harvey Weinstein and all the other older creepers, right? Whatever the reason is that they lured you in, a lot of times it's money and power, but then there's also just the creepy uncle who wants you to sit on his lap. No, it's not gonna happen, okay? So I think this is more just, again, it's a rant. It's a sister vent. But it's really frustrating just to see. And then when you look at the comments and, you have the victim blaming, it's just like, listen, I'm a girl's girl. This is Sistervention. This is a safe space for women. So you are guilty until proven innocent. I'm sorry. I know that's not how it's supposed to go, but in my eyes, that's what's going on. I'm believing my girl, okay? Now, were there some missteps there? One could say, sure, Sure. But at the end of the day, like, she said what she said, and Shannon Sharp is creepy. And if you watch any of the compilations online of all the weird, creepy things that he said before, you know that the man been creepy, okay? Been creepy. So when those men are creepy, believe them the first time when they're creepy, okay? But guys, that is my sister vent for the week. Let me know what you think about the Shannon Sharp situation. I definitely think there's a lot at play there. I haven't even gotten into really the whole race play of it all, and that's just a pure display of internalized hatred. But either way, let me know what you guys think about it. And I absolutely enjoyed this episode. If you are our oldest daughter, please leave a comment below. Check in with us. Let me know if you resonated with this episode. Let me know what I missed. We can always do a part 2. I'd love to bring some of my favorite oldest daughters onto the podcast. So hopefully we can get a whole little series going. But this has been really fun. I definitely miss you guys. We'll be back again next week. Until next time, you're watching Sistervention. Thank you. Bye.